Okay, so we're recording. All right.
Okay. Thank you very much for from early in the morning in Paris.
Yes. Yes, and I'm a little sick too.
Yeah.
So it's taking an extra effort, but I'm glad to be part of this and to greet the audience in Japan, a country that I love since I was a little boy. I always wanted to visit Japan, but I know one day I will, and I want to like I say hello to everybody in the audience and thank them for watching the film, and I hope they enjoyed it.
Okay.
Are we? Am I already on the? They can see me now.
Yeah. So
the audience can see me now.
yes, everybody. Yes.
Can see you.
Yes.
Okay.
So on the screen, so we are watching your face. So about 40 person here, the watching the.
Okay.
And just after the enjoying your film, and really everybody is impressed for your movie, just and this time, so not only for Japanese, also like some 3 guests from the Cuba is watching.
Oh yeah, good, wonderful.
So
Hay un cubano por ahí, ¿no?
Sí, tres
Tres
cubanos.
cubanos. Oh.
Tres cubanos, varios
Qué bueno, qué bueno, qué bueno, qué bueno, qué bueno. Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much for attending the interview. So I think so you received some kind of some draft from me about the interview, and really time is limited, so I need to select from several questions from the over 15 questions. So
Okay.
Okay, first of all, so how you decide to take the motif of conga for your film?
Yes, that's a good question. I always wanted to make a documentary about the reality in Cuba. Well, first I want to ask you, is there going to be any translation? Do I need to speak for translation or no?
Yeah, I think so. Just between some your conversation in English, maybe I need to translate into the Japanese.
Okay, so I give you slow answers. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So yes, I always wanted to make a film about my country, the reality of my country, and I wanted to be as genuine and as real as possible.
Okay, I translate. So, まあ、英語分かってる方多いと思いますけど、とにかく彼はそのリアルな、映像、リアルキューバのリアリティというものを、映像にしたかったっていうのが一番最初の、モチベーションだったです。Please.
And then I knew to bring this reality to life, I needed to get to the center, the core, the fabric of the people, you know, and try to find a truth story that also convey some attractive features of my culture, which is in this case is music and carnival. And then I knew that the epicenter of Cuban culture is in that region of the island, and specifically in Santiago de Cuba.
Okay. とにかくリアルなものを、撮るために何かコアになるものっていう考えたんで、そこで、まあ、コンガっていうのが出てきたんですけども、それは2つの意味があって、一つはまあそのエンターテインメント的にですね、音楽と、ダンス、カルチャーっていうもの。もう一つは、サンチアゴ・ド・キューバっていうのはその、 キューバの中でも文化の中心っていうか、一つのその伝統の中心っていうとこあったんで、それを一つ題材として取った。で、それをもってリアルな、キューバの姿を伝えたいというふうに考えたとおっしゃってます。Okay, thank you.
You're very good.
You understand Japanese, maybe. and
I'm impressed. Good, good. So anyway, I was living in America, in New Orleans, and in New Orleans is a lot of that street culture, that street theater, and very similar to congas. They are called second lines. They come in the street with trombone, saxo, trumpets, and percussion, and march through the street of New Orleans with a lot of people behind. I was living there, and every time I saw it, it reminded me of Santiago, Cuba. And then I that was the fuel. I say I have to go to Santiago to make a film about the conga.
Okay, very interesting. So 彼は今そのニューオーリンズ住んでて、まあ、日本に通るニューオーリンズっていうのはですね、個人のまあジャズが生まれたようなところで、特にリズム、それから、更新していくっていうので、セカンドラインっていうリズムに合わせて、まあ、パレードしていくっていうようなカルチャーがあって、それがやっぱりすごくサンチアゴの音楽っていうものと、共通性を持ってるっていうから、それを、取り上げてっていうふうに考えが、来たというふうにおっしゃってます。Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then my executive producer of the film, he is from Santiago de Cuba. I'm from Havana. And I met him in New Orleans, and then he told me, and he convinced me, and he told me, William, we have to go. We have to go and to Santiago and make a film. I introduce you to the people there, to the conga leaders. There are 8 congas in Santiago. He explained to me the whole anatomy of the movement of the congas. And then the first trip that I went, I met Lázaro, I met Tiburon, Raul. I met all the leaders of the different congas, and I met a few other characters, older people, the younger generation, and I started to get fascinated by it. But I didn't know it was going to become what it has become today. You start with the subject, and then you don't know with the documentary, you don't know when it's gonna take you. Please.
OK。彼のプロデューサーがサンチャゴ出身、彼はまあハバナ出身なんですけども、それがまあコンガっていうのはどういうもんだというのを教えてくれる中で、まあビシッとしていろんな人を紹介してくれて、まあ、ラサルにあったり、何にあったりっていう中で、撮り始めたんだけども、その時はまだどういうふうな物語になっていくかわからない。とにかくドキュメンタリーなので、撮り始めたということですね。はい。Thank you.
Yes, so that's how I started. That's how I started, and then and the rest was to continue developing the characters and keep going to Cuba. At the time, it was not really easy to go to Cuba from the U.S. And yeah, it was a long road. So I'm sure that you have many other questions. So I don't want to stay in this subject, but that was the genesis. That was the beginning and the inspiration.
Okay, thank you very much. まあ、そうやって始まったということですけど、まあ、とにかく長丁場でまあ15年間、取り付けた中でまあこういうふうに見てたんですけど、まあ、とりあえず話す長くで、こうやってまあスタートしたということですけど、Okay, so next question. So several questions, but really time is limited. So my personal really question regarding some, so you stick with the reality of the Cuba or people, and that's why. So you need to have a confidence with Lazaro or even with Tiburon. But I think so that to get some confidence from the Tiburon should be very difficult, I think, because you are from the outside of Cuba, and maybe they are a little bit too nervous about how so you will film his behavior. So how you get some confidence from Tiburon?
Yeah, that's a good question. Uh, it took me a long time.
Excuse me, leave it. 聞いたのはですね、向こうで、リアリティを持ったフィルムを撮るのに、各々の人から信頼を得ないと、リアリティはないと思いますけども、特にその、シャークからどうやって信頼を得たのと、そんな外から来た人が、急になんかアメリカやろうかもしんねえみたいに、信用させるなんてどうしてやれたのかなっていうのをちょっと聞いてました。すいません。ディブローンから、信頼を得るのはとても難しいと、思うんですけども、どうやってやったんですかっていうふうに聞きました。OK です。
Yes, it took me a while. It took me a long time. First, because I wasn't sure that he was going to be in the film first, you know? So I spent a few years that I had met him and I interviewed him like superficially, you know? Nothing political, only about the conga, only about the culture, only about the music. I didn't get deep with him, just maybe 1 or 2 interviews, that's all. And then, but he kept seeing me every time I went to Santiago. He see me, I say hi, you know. I go visit his headquarters. I made friends with some of his musicians. He was just checking me out, you know, to see what I was doing, what I was trying to do. He was curious, you know what I'm saying? He was very curious, and I treat him always with respect. And then at the same time, Lázaro character was developing, you know, in my mind and in my writing, and also the stuff that we were getting in film. And you know, I have to tell you this, and this is going to give the audience the answer that I hope that they're looking for. It's a very competitive world, obviously, that they have, you know, going on. And as the carnival approaches, the month of April, May, June, the spirit of carnival gets inside of them, and they get more competitive about everything. Whether that's domino or drinking or dancing or anything, running to catch a bus, anything is competitive at that point, you know? They want to win and they want to make a statement. So I think they would saw an opportunity to steal my attention from Lázaro. Can you get that? Can you tell that? And then I continue.
一番最初はもうとにかく世間話から始めて何とかがあって、インタビューしたり、音楽を聞いたりって、普通の感じで、特にその突っ込んだことをしなかったというですね。しかしその長い間、いろんな形で、彼と付き合っていって、ね、練習場に行ったりしたっていうところから、とはいえ彼は常に、こいつは一体何をしたいのか、何を取りたいのかっていうことについては、好奇心を満々というか、疑ってたというか、形だったんですけども、カーニバルが近づくに従ってですね、やっぱりその、各々が入れ込んでいくっていうステップの中で、少しずつ変わって、それからその中でですね、ラさんの方のキャラクターっていうのをどういうふうに映すかっていうのが固まってきたりっていうことで、それに対して彼の、自分の方に対してもどういうふうにアプローチしていくかっていうのが見えてきたっていうふうに、自然と、時間が解決したということなんでしょうか。それともカーニバルっていうお祭りに向けてのですね、集中度っていうか、気持ちが一体になっていくっていうところが、あったのか、その中で自然とそのコンフィデンスっていうのができてきたというふうにおっしゃったと思います。Thank you.
Oh, good. So when you are experienced documentary maker, you know when the character is ready. It's just like making a cake, you know. It's just like making a soup. You know, you taste it, and then you say, "Oh, no, it's not ready. We have to wait a little longer." And then when it's ready, he lets you know, but just looking at you. And then that's when you know that then there's a trust achieved. And then you start by filming and, always being polite and respectful. And if you have some footage to show them or some of your work that you've done in the past, they can see themselves. And then when they say yes, it's yes. Usually it works 100%. When they say yes, it's yes. And then you say, well, we're going to talk about everything. And they say, yes, I'm ready. I can talk about everything. And that point is about the personal pride. They don't want to disappoint you. They don't want to disappoint themselves or the audience. And then they know if they lie, it's on them. If they don't tell the truth, it's on them. I become like a priest in church.
Very interesting, very interesting. 僕は本当にフィルムなんか撮ったことないですけども、なんか彼の話を聞くと、そのドキュメンタリーっていうのは一体どうやって撮るのかっていうことはなんか分かるような気がしますね。やっぱりその撮っていく中で、真剣にまたお互いのことをリスペクトして、いくっていうことが、彼が、自然と、本音を言い合えるようになるっていう、ステップになっていくっていうことをおっしゃってるんじゃないかと思いますけども、そういうステップで彼の、信頼を得たと。得て、リアルに近づいたということですね。いうことだと思います。Okay. So, so related to this, that you get some trust or confidence with respect a long time. Because this feeling starts from maybe 2010, 2009, then up to 2019 or 20 or so, long filming.
Yeah.
But after that, so a lot of footage you have. I don't know how many feet. I don't.
Oh yeah, my editor is here. He said that we had I don't know, like 1,500 hours of footage.
I see. So,
but I have to say this: we film until 2015. Okay, that was the carnival. That was the end of the filming, and eventually we started to. We have to get some. We call it pickup shots, which is certain shots that you need to make the scene prettier. Okay, you don't film that necessarily during principal photography. But then in the year 2016, we started editing. Okay, 2016, 2017, we started editing. And then we thought that we were ready in about 2019. But the pandemic hit.
I see.
COVID-19. And we say, we're going to stop. We were really close. I said, we're going to stop. And then we had a team meeting. And we determined that we were going to finish it during the pandemic, no matter what. Because we were in 2020, we were going to travel from New Orleans to Havana to edit it and finish sound mix and sound design, everything there, and come back to the States with the finished product in 2020. It didn't happen, but my team was in Havana, part of my team, editors, sound, a colorist, post-production, they were in Havana. And then the characters were in Santiago. We needed to do some audio touches, record again. And that was impossible because we could not travel. And the internet in Cuba is really bad. So we couldn't send files in a proper manner, in a efficient way, So we had to get really creative for 2 years. I can tell you forever for all the tricks, and we became Japanese almost, because they used the technology and really meticulous use of technology to make it work between the US on Cuba in the internet, big files, small files. The movie, we have to cut the movie in short pieces, four chapters, and then send that in really, really low resolution for the editor, and then he send it back through some of the channels, the audio is the same thing. Then we have to put it together in New Orleans, and boom, and then it worked. So there's no excuse for nobody to not make a film.
Oh, I didn't know such a big work. I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, yeah.
まあちょっと聞いたのはですね、2008年、9年から撮り始めたフィルム、まあ、15年間、たまりにたまったもの、どんなふうにやったんですかって言ったら、まあ、実際のところ2016年ぐらいからエディットをスタートしているということですけども、まあ、間にコロナがあって、スムーズにいかないと、まあ、撮影の方もストップだし、エディットもストップ。で、その時はですね、データのやり取りをするしかないわけですけど、まあ、ご存知の通り、キューバの、インターネット弱いですから、まあ、大変な苦労だったと。一つのファイルを4つに分けたり、レゾルーションを落としたり、しながらやり取りしたという、まあ、大変な仕事だということです。だと思います。Okay, thank you very much. So, I think this film has a really excellent edit. So,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, big work. And finally, so I have a question. With this edit, what is the most important plot for you to inform to that you want to inform to the audience?
Great question. Hold on a second before I continue. Carlos, Carlito, come here. Back un momento. This is one of my editors.
Oh, really?
It's here, and I want him to say hi to you and the audience.
Oh,
He's
great.
from Argentina, Mr. Carlos Rasrondo.
Oh, hello.
How are you?
Fine. So it's very happy to see you. Oh,
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah,
Where are you right now?
Right now at Tokyo, Japan.
In Tokyo. Oh,
Tokyo,
nice.
Japan, yeah.
Nice, nice.
Great. Yeah, so I found that the really great work of editing on this film. Edition is really excellent. So really.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We
Yeah.
are working on. We just came back from Congo.
Yeah.
We're working on the next film.
Okay.
And now we are in Paris together. He's leaving home today. You're leaving today?
I'm leaving today to
Okay.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
answer your question. The resolution of the film.
Yeah.
The resolution of the film.
Yes.
Right after the carnival. Okay.
Yes. After, so yeah, what is a really real target to make a good edition to inform to your idea to the audience? What is your main theme of this film?
I want them to understand at the end of the film that Cuba is far more complex than what most people think outside Cuba. I want them to know that Cuban people live with in a tyranny, with with oppression and lack of fundamental freedoms that most people in other places take for granted. I wanted them to understand that there's a lot of myth about the reality of the Cuban people, but I didn't want to tell them myself. So I wanted the film, that message to emerge from the film and the reality of these characters' lives. The lie about communism, the double standard that is personified in Tiburon's character, and he's proud of it. That's the end That's the resolution of his character, his last scene in the film. The reality of the poverty and the everlasting, perpetual cycle of poverty is reflected on Lazarus' family. You know, the kids, they offer hope, but you see that at the end, that ending scene, the trophy is the TV that the mom sacrificed so much time to spend with the children just to buy a TV. They can see the mom in the TV, the pictures of the wedding with daddy. You know, they still live in the same house. Mom is gone. Separation of family. Why? What for? She's a doctor. She could afford a TV. She should have afford a TV, a house, a car, a nice home. She can. Poverty. Okay. And then immigration and separation of family and sacrifices that parents do. That's universal. I'm not saying that my country is the worst in the world. I love my country. It's just the system. It's horrible. And people leave, therefore. People leave Cuba. Many people leave Cuba. There are 3 Cubans in the audience there. For them, I say, I love you, guys. I salute you. I hope that you're doing well. Thank you for coming. But they know what I'm talking about. You know, we have to leave our country and leave our family behind. The poet decided not to do that because of his love for his wife and his daughter. You know, he took a strong decision, and he makes a really, really strong statement at the end. So all these 3 characters at the end, successive scenes, is a sequence of the conclusion of the film, which it was not about the conga and the carnival. Yeah, that's the spinal cord structurally to get the audience from here interested to see the story, you know. But at the end, that's what I wanted to say. And then it worked very well. I'm very proud of the film, and I think that we achieved with that ending. So that's my answer.
Okay, thank you very much. I think so all the audience felt what do you think, what do you want to express? And,
Yeah.
Okay, so little bit translation. So,大体分かったと思いますけれども、やっぱりキューバのリアリティを、伝えたいというですね、皆さん、キューバの外の人が、思っているようなキューバ、が本当のリアリティではないっていうところを、そのラサロとか、それからその家族とか、ポエタもそうですけども、そういうものを通して、コンガっていう材料を通して、それを伝えたいというですね、ダブルスタンダードの、ガバメント、共産党か、その、ことが一番で、それをいろんな、コンガという材料の中で、伝えたかったということだと思います。Okay, thank you very much. So really, time is fast and
Yeah.
we need to finish. But thank you very much. So such a short time, but you are really concentrate to respond us.
Thank you.
Ah.
I have a request.
オーディエンスの Q&A をします。
Ah, so okay. Maybe I need to ask some question from the
audience.
audience.
Can
Somebody, is there?
Can I see the audience, please?
Just yeah.
Is there any way I can see the audience? There you go.
何か質問をしたいという方いらっしゃいませんか？Okay, so I brought the one audience.
ポエタと、あと、おじいさん、ニコさん。あの2人とはどうやって出会ったんですか？この2人が入ることによって、この映画は単なる音楽映画でなくなった、ディメンションを作ってくれたと思うので、どうやって出会ったんですか
？The question was how you could meet, you could acquaint with Nico and Poeta. Who is the wait.
Sorry.
Okay, coming. Okay.
The question is how did I meet them?
Yes, how you could meet them? So Nico and Poeta.
Yeah. Well, the poet, Tomas, my executive producer, had been working with the poet since the year 2000. He had been recording his chants and documenting it to write an essay for his PhD paper in the university. And he told me, this guy is amazing. And I have some recordings. So when I went to Santiago, I met him. And Nick, and then obviously the poet is the poet, you know, he wants to be on camera, you know, so it was easy to get his trust. He wants his message to be heard all over the world. So that was easy to gain his trust and his confidence.
Oh, I see.
And
So
then
how you
and
could
then Nico, yeah, that's funny. Nico, I was in Cuba one of the trips, and then I had American dollars only. I didn't have the Cuban, at the time was Cuban convertible peso. It was CUC. I didn't have any of that. And the state rate in the bank was so outrageous. It was a ripoff, you know. And I was tired of exchanging my dollars in that rate. And then Lazaro came to me and said, "Hey, William, hey, you want to change some dollars?" I say, yeah, I need to change some dollars. They say, "Oh, there's this guy from Miami." This guy came from Miami, and he has a lot of CUC. And he is exchanging one for one, which was a great deal for me, you know. He needed to get rid of his leftover CUC because he was going to Miami. And I said, okay, and then we made friends, and then I realized that he go to Cuba to enjoy the conga. And I say, "You coming next year?" He said, yeah, I'm coming next year. If I don't die, I'm coming next year. I say, good. I said, would you like to be part of the film? He said, yeah, of course. And then I went to Miami, and then I followed him, and then, you know, and it was great. He passed away last week, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Lazaro just told me.
Thank you. 一応トランスレートすると、ポエタの方は、プロデューサーのトーマスがもともと知ってた。それからニコの方は向こうであって、それで彼がドルと、キューバペソチェンジするときに、ちょうどマイアミから来て帰るとこだったから、ちょうどよかった。そこで知り合ったということだそうです。はい、他にも。
すみません、私はちょっとスペイン語話しますから、私もOye, soy cubano. Aquí vemos
Hola, ¿cómo está, cubano?
Aquí saludándote. Bien contento, identificado con todo lo que has puesto. Hace más de 20 años que estamos acá. Y bueno, ayudando a la familia como podemos.
Un momento, hermano. ¿Hay manera de que yo pueda verte la cara a ustedes? ¿Es posible? Pregúntale a ellos.
Venga para acá.
Aquí es que está virado.
Espérate, ahora ven nosotros dos.
A ver.
Aquí, mira para atrás. Ahí nos ven nosotros.
No veo.
¿Por qué no nos ven?
La tengo que mirar para la pantalla aquella.
¿Allá?
Déjame ver.
No.
Bueno, no importa.
¿Sí?
No importa. Ahora sí.
Vale, va, ok.
Hola.
Hola.
¿Cuál es Esperanza? ¿Usted es Esperanza?
Yo soy Esperanza.
Gracias por el apoyo, Esperanza.
No, gracias a ti. Estoy muy emocionada y me ha gustado mucho el documental. Se me han salido un poco las lágrimas.
Claro, es lógico. A mí también se me salen, ¿verdad? Yo la he visto varias veces, cada vez que la veo hay parte, siempre me sorprende una parte que me llega al corazón.
Sí, el que conoce le llega. Muchísimas gracias, William.
Gracias, Esperanza.
aunque no lo crean, le estás abriendo los ojos a muchísimos
Sí,
japoneses
sí.
que solo
Coño, qué bueno,
conocían
compadre.
el
Ese es el objetivo.
baile, la diversión y todo eso. Y ahora están aquí súper contentos y
Entendiendo.
aprendiendo muchísimo.
Por eso es que el granito de arena que podemos hacer todos los cubanos. A veces yo sé que, y siempre me han dicho eso los cubanos que han participado en las screenings, ¿no? Que me dicen, bueno, le da una herramienta a ustedes
Exacto.
también para decirle, mira, no me creas, mira esto.
Ahí me
Las
mataron.
imágenes lo dicen todo.
¿Tú me entiendes?
Gracias,
Gracias.
Fíjate, gracias. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Chao.
Muchas gracias.
Chao.
Muy interesante, hablando en español. Acá ni otra persona. Señor Takashi. Viene.
Señor Takashi.
撮影が2008年から16年ぐらいまで長期かかったということで、その間にすごくキューバ国内もいろいろな政治的出来事があったし、アメリカ合衆国の方もすごく影響を与える、アメリカ合衆国の方もいろいろと大統領変わったりとか、いろいろそれによって政策変わったりしたってありますよね。で、やっぱりその長いスパンで撮ってると、その辺の編集やなんかにやっぱりその辺って影響っていうのは与えましたかということと、それからあのカーニバルの最終的な時とあれは何年だったのかな、っていうのを質問したい。
Entiende. So you're filming from the 2008 and maybe 2016, 17, it's a long time. But during that time, the lot of change, there are a lot of difference of the governmental situation in the US and also the economic situation in the Cuba or change of the family. So how you managed this change? And then the second question is finally, so you film the carnival, but which year that carnival?
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, that question I'm going to answer is two questions, but it's the same answer. The movie itself reflects the year from 2014 to 2015, and that's the 500th anniversary of the foundation of the Santiago, the city of Santiago. So we were lucky that that carnival that year was a little different because of what was at stake, the celebration of the 500 years of the city. You know, it was significant, and we were just lucky, you know. Sometimes you go fish and you catch a big fish. Sometimes you go to fish and you don't catch anything. That was the case. We have been filming 3 years in a row, 2012, 2013, and then 2014, 2015, 4 years in a row. Just carnival, because at that point we knew that the carnival was going to be the conductive thread structurally to make the film. But that year, when we found out, I think I found out in 2013 that in 2015 it's going to be the anniversary carnival. And I say, man, we just have to wait a little longer, you know, but let's just continue. And the triplets were growing, and then mom went to Venezuela, you know, and the poet had a daughter, and he got a pig, and all these things were happening. We were capturing it, you know, waiting for the carnival, the anniversary carnival. We came back, but then something happened, and I'm going to address the question of the last question. In December 2014, Obama and Raul Castro decided that they're going to have conversations about Cuba and the U.S. relationships. So that changed You can translate now until now, and then I continue.
まあ、いろいろチェンジがあった中で、対処したっていうことですね。まあ、トヨタに子供ができたり、ラスコに子供ができたり、ベネダルに奥さんが行くことになっちゃったりっていうのに、で、まあ、いろいろ大変だったと。だけど、まあ、カーニバルっていうのは、13年から、4年間取り続けて、まあ、最後に、15年だっていうことですけど、まあ、やっぱり一番今、最後のところに言おうとしたのは、2014年の12月にオバマが、まあ、キューバとのリレーションを回復したっていう、ここのところがまあ一つあるよねって言って、わははって笑ったわけですけどさ、その辺をちょっと聞いてみたい。おじゃあ、これ、それでラストにしよう。はい。OK。じゃあ、almost time is out, but last episode, please. じゃあ、at the time of the Obama make a change. 14. So that is the last question. So what was
Yeah.
that was a big change for you? Big
Yeah,
difference on them?
that was a big change. That was a big change. It took us everybody by surprise. The whole world was, because it was a secret conversation that they had. So then we were faced with a different reality, and I at that point I'm not thinking about my movie. I'm thinking about the future of my country. My nation is more important than the film. So that lasted for a while. We were able to capture Lazaro's reaction, and Tiburon, and the poet. Even the poet has some songs about it. The reunification, or the better of the relationships within the two countries. Everybody was excited in Cuba, except when people started to feel and taste the freedom. The Communist Party didn't like that, and Castro's didn't like that, and then they started to sabotage the changes, in ways that Obama and the U.S. administration was demanding some freedoms and some things in return, and the negotiation just died. And then it was Donald Trump came to power, and everything was kaput. And then I had to change. I had this big, yeah, I had to change again. I had this big, hot potato in my hands. I say, if I put this in the film, first it's going to date the film. Everybody's gonna know. Well, it was a hard decision because it was not smart for the sake of the film, for the sake of the work, to have that political landmark so important in the history of these two countries. But then it would anchor the film in 2014 forever. I didn't want that. In that way, the film is timeless.
Oh, I see.
It can be any year, any time.
Mm-hmm. I see. Thank you. Very, very interesting. Yes. So
Yeah.
Really
tough decision, difficult decision, but we had to make it. The editors that convinced me and the producers. I didn't want to do it. I believe me, I didn't want to do it, but they say, William, come on, you're gonna kill the film. You're gonna kill the baby. I say, okay, let's do it.
I see. But very interesting. So as you said in the film that the Cuba is really difficult country.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much. So we could know a little bit about your background and your film, and we really enjoyed, and we can rethink about your film, and maybe it is related maybe to our life in Japan. So because some
Hopefully.
the universal and the common thing. So anyway.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much
Thank you so much.
Time. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. What a nice audience. Oh, you guys are the best. Bye-bye.
今日もありがとうございました。だいぶ伸びちゃいましたけども。